She's just trying to test your coordination.
I still think it is stupid.
Well, how about I bring you a balloon out later and we can practice?
If you like.
I'll leave you the chair out, so if you get tired, you can use it, or the bench.
I think this chair is stupid as well.
Well, the bench isn't stupid, so use that instead. And the crocuses are blooming and near the daffodils.
Thank you, sweetheart.
You can do this. You can do this. You can do this. You can do this.
You can, you know.
Holy crap! Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I thought I was alone. I didn't see you there.
Judging from how high you jumped, I'm not surprised you didn't see me.
I'm so sorry. It's been a day. I have a job interview here today and they're not ready for me, so they said just take a moment and look around. And I forgot to look around.
Come over here, child. Have a sit down. Here on this bench. Take a moment to breathe. Breathe.
Okay.
Take a deep breath, and you can smell the beginnings of the dogwood trees in bloom. I've always found that just taking a breath gives me peace. Couple that with the aroma of God's creation, and you've got yourself a perfect tonic.
You can smell that sweet scent drifting in the air. Thank you.
You are nowhere and everywhere. Now, there is a legend about the dogwood tree. I love the flowers. And they say that supposedly the wood was used for the crucifixion of Christ. So it became known as a tree of anguish and sorrow. Of course, that can't be true because dogwoods do not grow in that part of the world.
Right.
My daddy was a military man. We were stationed in Maryland, and on trips to Washington, D.C., we would see all of those beautiful trees and the blooms during that time of the year. Oh, it was absolutely stunning. I think of the dogwood tree as something God gifted us, just to give us peace and remind us that we belong to Him. Nowhere and everywhere. Now, just take a moment and you find your peace. For here is the deepest secret. No. But now, this interview can't be all that.
Oh no, it's not that.
Here.
I'm so sorry. Oh, thank you. My Lord, this is so embarrassing. I'm sorry. It's not the job interview. I'm ready for that. I'm just not ready for what's going on in my personal life.
My mama always said, stay focused on the step in front of you. So take in the smell of those dogwoods and concentrate on the job interview. That's the step in front of you.
Do I have raccoon eyes? That would be a sorry look to go into a job interview with.
Well, I would like to say that taking care of us old people is not like taking care of raccoons in a zoo, but, well, there are a lot of parallels. Your makeup looks just fine. Well, now, see these little flowers? Why, they don't worry about how they look. Why, they just tilt their heads up and shine.
That is great advice.
Do you have children?
Oh, I do. Two, a boy and a girl. She's 12 and he just turned 9.
Well, you are like these chicken implants. The mother plant takes care of her little runners and tries to keep everyone safe.
And alive.
Alive is always good, but a great burden at times.
Yeah, burden's a good word for it.
You learn in this place that death is not the enemy.
Really? I would have thought it was never an invited guest.
Sometimes it can look to be a friend. Pain has a way of changing the limbs.
Well, there are all kinds of pain.
True. Some pain teaches us that we are to grow, and some pain is all-consuming.
How do we not get overwhelmed by the pain?
Physical pain should be managed, but spiritual pain, well, I think the soul is able to allow times and events to flow through us. That sifting of emotion allows us to feel the pain and the joy of life without that burden becoming too much. None of this life lasts forever.
Well, you have to wonder sometimes what the point of it all is.
Oh, to live through it, to experience it. Life, love, hate, the good, the bad, and the ugly. For some, life will become too much and they will long for release. And we will be there for them as we will be there for you. But we are here on this journey to explore life, to change lives, and to love one another.
To love one another.
You can live through it, can't you?
I have no choice.
Oh, we always have a choice. Face it or fear it.
Face it or fear it?
Well, you have everything you need in this life. The universe has your back. So face it. This job would help?
Yes.
Well, then let's concentrate on the job. What are you interviewing for?
Administrative coordinator.
And what does an administrative coordinator do?
Well, this job would oversee other departments and coordinate the paperwork and help with the flow of outside vendors here at the residence.
That sounds important.
Not terribly in the grand scheme of things, but it may be important to my future.
Then hang your hat on that.
Speaking of hats, I have to say I like your hat.
When I am old, I shall wear purple. Except I don't feel that old as the book writes. Suppose I am, though. After all, I am at the old folks' home.
I think you're as old as you feel, so feel whatever age suits you best.
All right, then. I choose 37.
37 is a good choice. Old enough to have gained wisdom.
And I can run for president. I would have been a good president.
What would have been your first executive order?
I know exactly what I would have done. I would sign an executive order for happiness.
You get some happiness, and you get some happiness, and you get some happiness.
That would be a nice world.
Mm-hmm.
Happiness is peaceful, and there's room for love.
True.
We need to learn how to be grateful for the happiness and for the difficulties that show us that illumination. The light of that positive energy against in contrast to the darkness, it makes us thankful. That kind of gratitude is bright and it can change worlds.
Sometimes, are you going to step down for me?
Yeah.
Sometimes the pressure of the world just blinds us to that kind of gratitude. Like, I understand how privileged I am that I woke up this morning. The sun is shining, my children are healthy, and I am here about to embark on what could be a new start in my life. And for that, I am grateful.
Just allow that gratitude, however big or small, show it, lead your conscience today, and all that other stuff, the universe will deal with that.
One step at a time.
You could do that, can't you?
Yes.
Well, good then. My first executive order is a success.
I found the balloon. It was left over from Lee's birthday party, but I'm sure he won't mind if we practice with it.
Oh, goody. Oh, Kelly, have you met Bee? She's here for a job interview.
Oh, it's a pleasure to meet you.
And you as well.
Bee is my new friend. She is setting out to find happiness.
Well, that's an awesome quest.
Thank you.
Okay, May. You sit there. We're just going to bat this balloon back and forth.
Oh, I still think this is as stupid as I thought it was earlier today.
I know you think it's stupid, but physical therapy will help you and you'll be amazed at your progress.
You believe they have a grown woman bouncing a balloon back and forth?
What's the purpose of this activity?
Well, May came to us after she suffered an illness.
Just say stroke, honey.
She suffered a stroke. Not a big one, but enough that this activity is going to help your coordination. Although she doesn't believe it.
All right, toss that thing over here. Oh, dang it.
That's okay. Don't be so hard on yourself. It's going to get easier as time goes on.
Child should be able to do this.
Oh, here, let me help. I have to say, you are doing really well. I would never have known you just suffered a stroke.
What can I say? I like to amaze my audiences.
Oh. And what position are you interviewing for?
Administrative coordinator.
Oh, well then you'll be meeting with Judy.
Is that good?
Oh yes, Judy is fair and you're going to love her.
Oh, good.
She's had a grandbaby, too,
Aww.
who could probably do better at this than I can.
Remember that we're working on your balance and coordination.
Whoops.
We just want you to be able to get around and extend your walking distance.
Thank you. Well, just let me wander around out here.
Look, I'm going to leave you with this. Pick it up, and you're going to toss it in the air and hit it. And when you walk over and pick it up and do it all over again. Or keep trying to get it in the air. The more you practice, the easier it's going to become. Well, it was a pleasure to meet you. And good luck on the interview. If you'd like, I can go check to see if they're ready for you.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Practice. Oh, nice try.
I got it. She seems very nice.
She's a good girl.
You don't like physical therapy?
I don't like the way they look at me, like I'm old.
Well, you're 37 years old.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Uh-huh.
When I was a child, I ran, and I climbed trees, and swung on poles. Thank you. My mother never said a word to me. She didn't stop me. She saw me as fearless, which is just saying something when times you were supposed to raise a daughter like a demure, charming little girl. I had a horse named Perk that I would run as fast as it could. It would carry me. I could feel the wind in my hair, and my body would lift off the horse. I felt like I was flying. I didn't stop until the finish line was in sight. I know our neighbor would say to my mom, "Helen, curb that child in." My mom would shake her head and say with the biggest smile, "Gladys, I am not raising a child to question her confidence." She knew that if I had been a boy, that neighbor would have never questioned her. And my mother would never step between me and my high adventures. But now I have to be so careful, so structured, because I am in a world in which my adventures are dictated by physical therapy. Not for the safety of me, but for them. They were playing it safe. Oh, and that makes me feel so old. So old.
It makes me think about a book that I just read. It was about these two sisters during Nazi Germany. Now, I'm not comparing physical therapy to World War II.
Oh,
mind
you haven't met Wendy from physical therapy.
That's true. But in this story, these two sisters saw what they didn't like and they began to find ways to resist. They didn't give up, but in their own way, they were quiet heroes that changed the lives of many during a really tragic time. I don't really know you, but you seem to me to be a woman that doesn't give up. At least not until the entire race has been run.
Miss Jackson, they said that they're ready for you.
My daughter loves to skateboard.
She has the helmet. I'm not sure why I'm giving these to you.
She has the helmet and the pads, and she was fearless until she took a pretty big spill. And then I noticed her helmet was at the back of a closet. She had lost her confidence until a couple of her friends came over and got her back on the track, and she fell again, and she learned how to get up because she was going to fall a number of times. It isn't about failing or feeling old, it's about not giving up. I hope I see you again.
Me too.
We always have the choice. Face it or fear it. Don't you just love the color of the trees this time of year?
Somehow the leaves just know when it is time to let go. It is scary for us to just let go, but nature just knows when it is time.
Nature just adapts. It is kick-ass.
Yes. Kick ass.
I did this report in, I don't know, 6th grade or something maybe, about this woman who loved to ride horses and how she contracted polio. Polio was declared a virus, a disease, and it was completely eradicated in the late 1970s. Imagine a disease that devastated so many families could be completely gone.
New York, I think, just had a case a while back.
Yes, because people get complacent and they don't vaccinate their children.
COVID.
I know. Polio is a terrible disease, and it can hit so fast and hard. But this report about how this woman trained her horse in that fancy stepping event.
Dressage.
Yes, dressage. She had to learn a new way to communicate with her horse because she could not use her legs. Right? She got so good that she made it to the Olympics.
And that's what you have to do? Learn a new way to communicate with your legs.
I think At my stage, they just take the horse out and shoot it.
Oh, you have to stop talking like that.
Well, at any rate, this woman's story showed me that anything is possible. I think sometimes we forget that. I mean, look at me, working here, starting a new position. It's a new chapter for me, a new possibility.
Well, we're just glad that your new chapter includes us as characters.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
God, disease. Isn't that just a horrific word?
Some diseases we can wipe completely off the face of the earth, and others devastate our lives.
How did it devastate yours?
Well, not all diseases leave a mark that you can see. I came here looking for a job that day that we met in the garden, because my husband had just died. My husband had the disease of alcoholism. For months, I was living in fear that I would get a phone call telling me that he'd been killed in an accident.
Yeah.
I was afraid to come home for fear I would find him hanging in the garage.
Jesus.
Yet the weekends were just a fog for him.
Yeah.
And then the weekends turned into weeknights and then weekdays, and it was a slow erosion of our relationship. I spent so much of my day angry. The kids and I had just gone to bed, and he sat down after some Jim Beam, I know, because the bottle was still out in the morning. He sat down in his favorite chair and he had a heart attack. All alone. And that I have to live with. Could I have done something? Should I have gotten up and checked on him?
You somehow have to let go of that way of thinking. You are angry at him, but the person you must forgive is you.
My husband had the disease of alcoholism. It's a disease that didn't just take his life, but it affected the entire family. My children don't have a father, and I don't have a husband.
There's a lot of living in survival, trying to hang on to one day at a time.
You know, my cousin died of fentanyl poisoning. He was just a senior in high school, and you know my aunt, she'll just never be the same.
I thought I was living on scorched earth.
But you walked through it and got your children through it. That is because of who you are.
Being here and having the opportunity to start over has brought my garden back to life.
That's the beauty of a garden. In the springtime, well, every new season brings a change, and every spring brings new life. We just have to remember that it's not over until it's over. The ship always rights itself, and the dawn brings a new beginning.
Well, the Titanic didn't right itself.
Shoot! You're right. Well, it suffered from the disease of hubris.
Yeah.
I guess we all have to remember that no matter what season we're in, a disease, a change of season, and too much water, well, it can change our circumstances. But I think how we face those circumstances tells us a great deal about who we are.
That's very true. I mean, take B here, for example. It's a great example of someone whose seasons have changed, and she found her garden decimated, but she still turned and faced towards the wind and started over. And I guess, well, it's something.
Face
it
or fear it. Yes. Yes.
You know, I remember facing the wind. I was at my mother's house on our farm that me and my brothers grew up on. I was there because we were getting ready for my brother's funeral. I was standing outside, burning trash and kind of just moving in a haze. And I looked up at the trees, and as they were swaying back and forth in the wind, I didn't know if I could make it through the next few days, but the wind just touched my face. I like to think it was my brother telling me to be still. Be still and know somehow that he was in the hands of God. And as I was facing that wind, feeling it on my face, somehow that just made the horrific desert seem more bearable.
Kelly, how old was he?
He was 28.
Oh, so young.
He took a gun and he shot himself. He didn't leave a note and he didn't say goodbye. And my mama never got to see her boy again.
You don't know why at all?
Well, I mean, yeah, we could piece together parts of the story. Him and this girl he was seeing, parting ways, and I guess the pain of that. He could just see past the horizon into tomorrow. That tomorrow was going to be a different day, a new season. He just got stuck in that old season and in an old time, and I guess it just swallowed him up like a black hole.
Scorched earth. I am so sorry.
Well, I mean, they can't all right themselves, right?
That's the mystery of black holes. Seems like a negative draw, but actually, we don't know what possibilities they hold.
I'd like to think of him as being in the wind. When I hear the leaves rustle, I'm going to think of him as it's him telling me hello, and that he'll be waiting for me on the other side.
I've got to run.
Yeah.
I'll check back with you guys later.
I like your idea of the wind, to be outside and to smell the outdoors.
You could go help her, Hannah.
Hear the birds and feel the wind. Oh, when my daddy died, it was around Christmas time. And, well, when there should have been music and wafts of cookies in the air, oh, there wasn't. It was just a cramped room full of beeping sounds and grief. I say, take me outside when my time comes. Pull me under the moon, the sky, the stars, under the clouds. Take me outside, no matter the temperature, and let me feel, let me hear nature and loved ones calling me.
Do you think our loved ones are waiting for us?
I like to think my Ralph is there. I like to think of them as soul contracts. These souls that come into our lives. Some we are born with and some we meet along the way. I think our purpose is to be better human beings, to learn along this life journey, to be better humans. People come in and out of our lives to teach us lessons on that journey.
And we teach others with our life lessons through kindness and, I guess vice versa, meanness.
I think you are right. It's a cosmic give and take.
Yeah. What's the greatest life lesson that you've learned?
During family gatherings, which we all know can be tricky, I learned that my job is to love and be loved. I remember listening to Cousin John's ranting about some current political situation, and, well, it made it very difficult to tolerate him, let alone love him. But then I would look out the window and see his kids playing with my kids in the yard under the fall trees, and I was transported back to the days when we played under those same trees. We are who we love.
Yes, but sometimes love can be painful, like when you break up with a boyfriend or your brother dies.
We all know that pain of love that is taken from us. That pain is part of life. And I have to feel it to appreciate the gift of love that I have. People we can no longer see. They live in our heart.
When we make these soul contracts, do you think we know the pain that we are going to feel before we begin the journey? I mean, I don't know why we'd want to learn from that much pain.
When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound of what my life and my children's life might be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests. I come into the peace of wild things who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come to this presence of still water. I rest in the grace of the world, and I am free. That is my favorite poem. It's a poem by Wendell Berry. The Piece of Wild Things, I think it's called. It just always gives me some kind of solitude, knowing we can't control what the world gives us, and we don't understand the grief that we find in it, but I don't have to worry about that. I'm not saying it's easy, but if I can learn to live, to love all the Cousin Johns in the world, and let go of the hurt and pain they caused me, well, when I can accept life, even when I don't understand it, then love will win. And when I let love win, I have learned the greatest lesson.
You know, my mama always said that it was important to stay compassionate. And if we can face the pain and understand the pain of others, then we grow in compassion.
Your mama was wise.
She was. But I guess in the family, she never really got the credit she deserved.
Well, we have to change that.
I took classes in women's studies one day, and the teacher was talking about naming things and how it was important that we have names for feelings and events in our lives. And there was this one called kin-keeping.
Kin-keeping? What's that?
Well, it's the everyday, mundane things that we do, activities in our lives. It's mostly women that do it. It's the caring for the family. And I guess we just don't get enough credit for it. I learned how important language is and naming things in society. We have in the past, I guess, well, things have changed some, but in the past we have been this patriarchal society in which we hold men of the house, the breadwinner, the hunter that is to be held in high esteem. And I guess I'm the first girl in my family to go to college, and my mama didn't. So my mama stayed at home and she raised us kids. On holidays when the family gathers, who is it that does all the work to prepare for the family gathering? I'm not sure aunts and cousins will come in and they'll come in and they'll make it a bonding activity, but it's the women who have taken the opportunity to make it that bonding experience. And they're the ones who do all the work while the men sit and watch the football game. Kin-keeping. When you ask yourself in a family, who knows all the birthdays, who knows all the dentist appointments, who goes to the parent-teacher conferences, it's kin-keeping. It's a fundamental thing in our families, and it's been mostly women who have done that, and we don't have a name for it. We don't give it the proper importance it deserves.
It is the family connection.
Exactly. My mama was a kin-keeper of our family, and she used compassion to build that connection. Only I didn't see how the death of my brother, I guess, kind of broke that in her. She always blamed herself for not being able to help him see past the horizon.
Guilt is a tricky emotion. It can so often slide into shame, which is no help to anyone. Guilt, on the other hand, it helps us adapt. We examine our values and we change. But shame, it stops us and it tells us we aren't good enough
Well,
to belong.
Well, we're all human. I am, my brother, he was, and my mama is. And we all fall short, but we can't blame ourselves. And that's what I told my mama. You can't blame yourself.
We are all children of God. And that makes us enough.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, are you cold? Do you want to go inside?
No, could you run and get my cover?
Oh, absolutely.
Be still and know.
Are you sure you're warm enough? They're gonna kill me if you die.
Then I shall not go alone.
That's not funny.
Just park me by the bench.
There is that poetry book that you asked me to bring.
Well, open the book and read me a poem.
Well, what poem would you like me to read?
Doesn't matter. We'll let the universe decide.
Ah. Okay, well, here it goes. I carry your heart with me, I carry it in, by E.E. Cummings.
Oh, wonderful poet. Go ahead, read the poem.
I carry your heart with me, I carry it in my heart. I am never without it anywhere I go, you go, my dear. And whatever is done by only me is your doing, my darling. I fear no fate, for you are my fate, my sweet. I want no world, for beautiful you are, my world, my true. And it's you are whatever a moon has always meant and whatever a sun will always sing is you. Here is the deepest secret that no one knows. Here in the root of the root, in the bud of the bud, in the sky, of a tree called life, which grows higher than a soul can hope and a mind can hide. And this is the wonders that keep the stars apart. I carry your heart, and I carry it in my heart. Well, that's a beautiful poem.
It is.
But he sounds sad.
I suppose he is. I never really thought he was talking to anybody. I thought he was talking to himself. Talking to the soul. We can't know who we are until we know ourselves. Can we really love anyone until we love ourselves? Do we belong anywhere until we belong nowhere? It is a beautiful poem.
Well, I guess that is what poems are for, to make you think and to make you feel.
I carry you with me.
That is very sweet. I'll be right back, okay?
Dogwood, Daddy. Can you smell it? My hands just don't work right anymore.
Heard you were out here. It's so good to see you out of your room.
It feels good to be out of my room.
I love the smell that is in the air.
I love the feel of the air.
It's beautiful here in this garden.
I may not I may not see the crows in this garden. I mean, in the spring.
What are you talking about?
I'm just saying that this is where I want to be. Feel the breeze and hear a dog fussing in the distance. Oh, listen to the birds. It's been so long since I heard the birds sing like that. Do you know why a bird sings in the morning?
No.
It's calling to its mate. I'm here. I made it through the night. I'm here. Come sit on the branch with me. I'm here. My Ralph was a bird watcher. Didn't start out enjoying birds. When he was 52, he was diagnosed with stomach cancer. Well, he had an operation and the doctors told him that everything looked good. But Ralph didn't believe them. He gave up on life. We spent many hours sitting on the porch watching the bird feeder that I kept filled, mind you. But he knew the different calls. He used to say that the robins were his favorite. He never did seem to find anything that gave him as much pleasure as that bird feeder. So I kept it filled. One day, after his funeral, it was raining, one of those glorious spring rains that it's beautiful to watch if you're inside, but if you get caught in them, the rain is so cold. Well, I was sitting on the sofa looking outside when a big robin landed on the porch rail. He was wet and looking rough, like life had just hit him hard. And I looked at him, and he looked at me, and I thought of my Ralph. Well, we just sat there looking at each other, and then the phone rang and he flew away. And now every spring I look for the robins. So much wasted time. Time is the one thing that we can't bottle or manufacture. It is a deep regret that I couldn't get him to enjoy our life. A deep anger that I have. Why did he give up on us? I mean, he left me that day of the operation. I didn't leave. Oh, I thought about it. He never held my hand or went on a walk around the block. He never took me out to dinner or told me I was pretty. He was nothing and he was everything. Even to this day, I love him. I love him.
How old was he when he died?
71. For almost 20 years, he stopped participating in life because he was convinced that the doctors were wrong.
I've learned that men of that age, and especially after surgery, suffer from depression. It's not your fault, May.
I guess. But we could have had years together. Now I just wait to hear the robins sing that he's coming. Now I'm the bird watcher.
Well, I'll have to get you a book on the different types of birds.
Oh, no, I don't need a book. I just love being out here, listening to whatever God delivers. This is the best of concerts. This world is the greatest gift. My Ralph could not see that. It is nothing and everything.
Okay, let's get these vitals checked. What were you guys talking about?
Everything and nothing.
Nature's concert.
Nature's concert. We belong to nature. We belong to this world, yet we don't. We are everything and we are nothing, and both are equally powerful.
Well, maybe you should come inside.
You know, Emerson said, write it on your heart
Okay.
that every day is the best day of the year. He is rich who owns the day, and no one owns the day who allows it to be invaded with fret and anxiety. Something like that. So I will go in soon. I just enjoy the breeze so. I feel so much freer out here.
Are you in any pain?
When I am out here, I don't feel it as much.
Okay, well, you're looking a bit pale. That might mean your blood pressure's low, so I'm gonna get you some juice.
I'm proud that I've had the courage to stand alone in this life.
So few of us get to know our life's purpose.
I have often wondered about my life's purpose. And then I think of that cat that I saved crossing the highway. Or the boy I wrote a note to that was in the hospital. Or my neighbor, I paid her rent. And when I buttoned my daddy's shirt because he couldn't anymore. I think we get lost when we look for our purpose in intangible endeavors. The universe isn't interested in that. Because it sees in our hearts. We must act with love and compassion. And when we do that, our purpose, well, it aligns with our true self.
You are a remarkable woman. I'm so proud to be able to call you my friend.
You are a joy to me. The Dogwood Tree is so beautiful in the spring. I thank you for being here.
Well, where else would I want to be? You know, I was watching the History Channel and I thought of you when they started telling the history of the Dogwood Tree. You spoke about how Christ's cross was made from the wood. Well, this was about the Cherokees who believed that a race of people called the Dogwood people lived in the tree. Those people go around and do good deeds for other people. They give away kindness, and I just want to thank you for all of the kindness and wisdom you've gifted me with. Oh, look, a robin. Do you see it? May? May! May! Oh, wait here, May. I'll go get some help. Kelly, it's May. Come quickly.
Yeah, this is Kelly? Yes, it's May. We're out in Pathway's garden. Yes, she's deceased. Yeah, could you notify the family? Send it to me, yeah. Yeah, I'll stay here with her. Thank you.
is the deepest secret nobody knows.
Oh, May.
Here is the root of the root and the bud of the bud, the sky of the sky of a tree called life, which grows higher than soul can hope or mind can hide. And this is the wonder that's keeping the stars apart.
May.
I carry your heart. I carry it in my heart.